Nordson Corporation is proud to continue to invest in educational opportunities through our sponsorship of Academic Challenge. Nordson is a global leader in precision technology solutions with a long and proud history of giving back to the communities where we live and work. Each year, we donate 5% of our U.S. pre-tax profits to charitable endeavors, prioritizing programs that support STEM education, human welfare, and arts and culture. To date, Nordson and the Nordson Corporation Foundation have donated nearly $173 million to charities, awarded $7.5 million in scholarships, and our employees have logged more than 117,000 volunteer hours. Thank you for watching Academic Challenge. Best of luck to all the participants.
Today, teams from
Conneaut,
Conotton Valley,
Jefferson!
There we go. We're all here this morning for the Nordson Academic Challenge. Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Nordson Academic Challenge. I'm your host, Rob Powers. Thanks so much for being with us. Here's the challenge this morning. For the next 30 minutes, our teams will be tested on their knowledge of subjects like math, science, history, a few others as well. So one more time, let's hear it for our schools. Conneaut, Conotton Valley, and Jefferson area. The winner today will be the team with the highest point total at the end of our 5 rounds. The 3 highest scoring teams this season will then be back to play in our championship game and try to win a grant of $6,000 for their school awarded by our friends at Nordson. So let's get it started. We start every Saturday with the lightning round. Here's how it goes. All 3 teams compete here. I ask 10 questions that all have a common theme. We award 20 points for a correct answer. We will take away 20 points for an incorrect or no answer. Let's start every school off with 100 points. All set? Here we go. We count on you to get all these questions right. All the answers are numbers. Numbers. Here we go. An Olympic decathlon has this many events. Conneaut.
10.
That is correct. In 2 years, there are this many weeks. Conneaut.
104.
That is correct. Alibaba had to deal with this many thieves. Jefferson.
100.
40. 40. A dodecagon has this many sides.
12.
Conneaut.
12.
12 is correct. There are this many New England states. Conotton Valley.
12.
6. 6 is the answer. This is the atomic number of oxygen. Conneaut.
8.
8 is correct. In baseball, a grand slam brings in this many runs. Conneaut.
4.
That is correct. There are this many feet in a mile. Jefferson.
5,280.
That is correct. This is the minimum age for a U.S. president. Jefferson.
35.
That is correct. The final question in this round is from the digital marketing director at the Great Lakes Science Center. Here's Jordan Coleman.
1969 was a landmark year that saw the landing of this Apollo number mission to the moon.
Answer? Jefferson?
12.
11 is the answer. All righty, that's the end of our opening round. It went like that. We'll be back with the second round of the big game right after this. If you'd like more information about any of the schools that appear this season, scan that QR code you see in the upper right-hand corner of the screen with your cell phone. That code takes you to the news5cleveland.com academic challenge page. We have links for all of this season's schools right there. Time for us now to play Hot Picks. One at a time, I ask each team 8 questions selected by the captain of another team. Correct answer here, worth 20 points. There's no penalty for a wrong answer. Any team answering all 8 questions correctly will receive 25 bonus points. Before we get to the questions, let's meet our players. We start with Conneaut. We start with the captain, Diana. Tell us about yourself.
My name's Diana Risley. I play tennis, and I'd like to shout out our wonderful advisor, Miss Mermis.
There you go. Welcome this morning. Hi, Jack.
Hi, my name's Jack Hedberg. I'm going to Ithaca College for Astrophysics, and I'd like to shout out our sub, Aaron.
There you go. Thank you, Jack. Thanks for being here. Hi, Maddie.
Hi, my name is Maddie Zappatelli. I'm senior class president at Conneaut, and I would like to shout out our other alternate, Mark.
There you go. Welcome this morning. For your questions, Conneaut, we go to Magnus, the captain from Conotton Valley. Magnus, open board, 1, 2, 3, or 4?
4.
You got it. Okay, Conneaut, these are all for you. All set? Here we go. The book Spears of Twilight got right to the point as it described the tribal peoples living along what longest South American river?
The Amazon?
That is correct. The teapot dome scandal didn't deal with tea, but with what fuel, much of whose modern supply is provided by OPEC?
Gas.
Oil. We had to take oil there. Sorry. A physically complex environment stimulates brain growth in what scale-covered creatures, the focus of ichthyologists?
Snakes.
Fish. Fish, the answer. Let's go to the monitor. Here's your science question. Which of these is the number of protons in the most common isotope of the helium atom?
2.
2 is correct. Since he spoke 58 languages, Dr. Harold Williams was able to talk to all the delegates in their native tongues at what international peace organization that preceded the UN?
The League of Nations.
That is correct. Shere Khan, the man-eating villain of Kipling's Jungle Book, is what sort of wild animal? Also a frightening presence in the novel Life of Pi.
Wait, no. Tiger.
Tiger's correct. Let's go back to the monitor. Here's your math question. If x equals 5, this expression will equal what integer? Answer?
25.
25 is correct. During the American Revolution, what British Army major was hanged as a spy for conspiring with Benedict Arnold to turn over West Point to the English?
Paul Revere.
John Andre was the answer there. Nice round, Conneaut. There we go. That's how we do it. Okay, and that gets us to our second team from Conotton Valley. Magnus, you're the captain. Welcome this morning. Tell us about yourself.
Hello, I'm Magnus. I was a captain on our football team, and I'm in the National Honor Society.
There you go. Welcome this morning. Lillian, you are up.
Hi, I'm Lillian from Conotton Valley, and I play softball, volleyball, and bowling, and I hope to participate in more sports.
There you go. Welcome this morning. Hunter, you are up.
Hello, I'm Hunter McLaughlin. I am heavily involved in 4-H, and I also compete in National High School Rodeo.
There you go, Hunter. Thank you so much. That sounds so cool. For your questions, Conotton Valley, we go to Zane, the captain from Jefferson. We're down to 1, 2, or 3.
Packet 1.
You got it. All right, Conotton Valley, this is all you. All set? Here we go. Wonders of the Invisible World was a 17th century book about what women in Salem, Massachusetts, who supposedly had supernatural powers.
Witches.
That is correct. You'll never get a sinking feeling in what Middle Eastern sea on the Israel-Jordan border because it's almost 10 times saltier than the ocean.
Black Sea.
Dead Sea. Dead Sea's the answer, sorry. The medieval kingdom of Benin is famous for its beautiful sculptures made of what metallic alloy of copper and tin?
Bronze.
That is correct. Let's go to the monitor. Here's your science question. Which of these elements is the best oxidizing agent?
Iodine.
Fluorine. Fluorine is the answer. Captain Robert Gray was the first American to sail around the world, but he's better known as the discoverer of what river that separates Oregon and Washington?
The Colorado.
The Columbia River is the answer there. In a story by Guy de Maupassant, Madame Loisel first borrows, then loses what item of jewelry?
Necklace.
That is correct. Back to the monitor. Here's your math question. Simplify this expression and give your answer as an integer.
70.
7 is the answer, just 7, sorry. In 1935, a motorcycle accident took the life of what British adventurer who had gained fame leading Arab forces during the First World War? Answer is Lawrence of Arabia, Conotton Valley. That's your second round. Good job. Okay, that gets us to Jefferson Area School. Zane is the captain. Welcome this morning. Tell us about yourself, please.
Hello, I'm Zane. I play trumpet, and I'm going to nationals for teams.
There you go. Welcome to you. Gino, you are up.
Hello, I am Gino. I do multimedia, and I'm going to college here in Cleveland next year for film and media arts.
There you go. Good for you. Hello, Reagan.
Hi, I'm Reagan Williams. I'm 6'7", standing up straight, and I'm just happy to be here.
Good man.
We are so happy you're here, all 6 foot 7 inches of it. All 9 of you, in fact. Thank you so much for being here this morning. For your questions, Jefferson, we come to Diana from Conneaut. 2 or 3?
3.
You got it. Jefferson, you're up. Here we go. One of President Lincoln's duties involved signing documents for ships hunting what sea creatures, such as the fictional Moby Dick?
Whale.
That is correct. 2019 marked the 150th anniversary of what chemical chart or table developed by Mendeleev?
Yeah, sure.
Answer?
Periodic table.
Periodic table is correct. The White House was first painted white after it was burned by the British in what war that took place early in the 19th century?
War of 1812.
That is correct. Let's go to the monitor. Here's your science question. Which of these enzymes is essential to the clotting of blood?
Pepsin.
Thrombin. Sorry about that. Singing dogs, known for their distinct howling and once thought to be extinct, still exist on what island where Papua is located?
New Guinea.
That is correct. What modern author of horror stories might keep you up at night with novels like Insomnia and Dr. Sleep?
Stephen King.
That is correct. Back to the monitor. Here's your math question. How many degrees are there in angle X if these two angles are supplementary?
80.
80 is correct. Newspaper accounts of the Great Galveston Hurricane of 1900 were somewhat overshadowed by reports of what Chinese rebellion with a feisty name?
Boxer Rebellion.
That is correct, and that is the end of the round. All righty, we'll be back with more academic excitement right after this. Hey, welcome back to the show. Today's guest, courtesy of Cuyahoga Community College, Lisa DeFransky's here, the Director of Strategic Communications for every one of the locations at Tri-C. Lisa, thank you so much for being here this morning. Welcome. Before we start up our next round, let's take a quick look at the scores as we have them right now. Third place, 140 points, Conotton Valley. Second place, 240 points, Jefferson leading the way, 300 points, Conneaut. But hold on, time now for the Picture Perfect round. All three teams compete in this round. I ask 8 questions, all of which have some kind of visual element. For every correct answer, we give you 20 points. For a wrong or no answer, we take away 20 points. So hands on the buzzers, eyes on the big monitor. All set? Here we go. This is a manatee, which Christopher Columbus somehow mistook for what legendary Jefferson?
Mermaid.
That is correct. Near the end of World War II, the USS Bunker Hill was attacked by what sort of Japanese suicide pilots? Jefferson.
Kamikaze.
That is correct. This is Maximilian I, head of a European empire that began in 939 and continued until 1805 and had what 3-word
Holy
Jefferson?
Roman Empire.
One more time.
Holy Roman Empire.
That is correct. Solve for X here, stating your answer as a positive integer. Answer? Jefferson?
9. Oops, sorry, 9.
9 is correct. This seated figure was created over 1,000 years ago by a craftsman in what modern South American country where Bogota is the capital? Conneaut.
Colombia.
That is correct. On this 16th century map, South America lacks most geographical features, including what cape at the tip of the continent? Jefferson?
Cape of Good Hope.
Cape Horn. Gauguin painted Woman with Mango and other tasty works on what Pacific island where he did most of his paintings? Answer is Tahiti. The home on the cover of this Cleveland magazine features a wide window letting in plenty of natural light for houseplants to convert into chemical energy in a process known as Jefferson.
Photosynthesis.
That is correct, and that round is done. We're going to need more questions. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back. We're going to mix it up right after this. Big show. Let's say hello to our advisors from Conneaut. It's Artemis Maris from Conotton Valley. Let's say hello to Kelly Edwards. And from Jefferson area, it's Alyssa Ferrier. Thank you all for being here this morning. Thank you for getting the kids here on time and everything. It is time for us to mix it up. One at a time, I ask each team 6 questions here. A correct response worth 20 points. No penalty for a wrong answer. Any team answering all 6 questions correctly in this round will receive 25 bonus points. First up, Conneaut. All set? Here we go. Hidden in this phrase is the name for what part of the eye, the light-sensitive membrane lining the inner eyeball?
Retina.
That is correct. There it is. If you were looking for a calm spot to rest, that place could best be described by which of these adjectives?
Tranquil.
That is correct. Back in mythical times, this might have been the internet address of what classical messenger god noted for his winged sandals?
Hermes.
That is correct. You don't need to be a vegetarian to rearrange these letters to name what university in South Bend, Indiana, whose football team is the Fighting Irish?
Notre Dame.
That is correct. Which of these minerals would be best would most likely float on water?
Pumice.
That is correct, and that was big. This is for the bonus points. These are the words of one American woman who fought for a woman's right to vote and whose initials were SBA.
Susan B. Anthony.
That is correct for the bonus points. There we go. All righty. Conotton Valley, you're up. Ready to roll? Here we go. Look at this phrase and see if you can find the name of what non-metallic element, the second most abundant element in the Earth's crust.
Silicon.
Silicon is correct. A person who is unselfish and charitable can best be described by which of these words?
Apathetic.
Altruistic is the answer, sorry. This could be a website about what 18th century French queen whose life ended on the guillotine?
Marie Antoinette.
That is correct. Rearrange the letters here to name what government action paired with the word search in the Fourth Amendment to the Constitution.
Seizure.
That is correct. Which of these three animals is often found at elevations above 14,000 feet and is a source of dairy products for people in Central Asia?
Yak.
That is correct. This fine statement was made by what German monk who had a shaved head when he began the Protestant Reformation in 1517?
Martin Luther.
That is correct. Nice round, Conotton Valley. Okay. And that gets us to Jefferson. All ready?
Yes.
Here we go. Hidden here is what word for a woody plant tissue different from phloem?
Oxalemon.
Xylem. Xylem, right in the middle there.
Yeah.
If you gave a report that was brief and to the point, that report could best be described by which of these adjectives?
Concise.
That is correct. Had there been an 18th century internet, this could have been the website of what man who invented the cotton gin?
Eli Whitney.
That is correct. You can clean up with 20 points if you can rearrange the letters in this phrase to name what shelf that lies off the coast of the U.S. to a depth of 100 fathoms.
It's Atlantic something.
Answer?
Atlantic Auckland.
No answer.
Continental is the answer. Continental. If an animal were classified as a ruminant, you would expect it to engage in which of these activities?
Sure. Chewing its cud.
That is correct. Here is one description of what iron tower that has dominated the skyline of Paris since 1889.
Eiffel Tower.
That is correct, and that's the end of this round. Here we go. We're back with our final and deciding grab bag round right after this. Appreciate it.
Academic Challenge is online at news5cleveland.com/academic challenge. Get this season's schedule, see results, and watch episodes of your favorite high school team here and on your favorite streaming device.
Welcome back to the Nordson Academic Challenge. We're going to recap our scores right now as we hit the final round. Third place, 240 points, Conotton Valley. Second place, 400 points, Jefferson. 465 points, Conneaut leading the way, but hold on. It's time for our grab bag round here. All three teams compete once again. I'll ask as many questions as time allows. For every correct answer, we award 30 points. A team will lose 30 points for a wrong or no answer. Again, this is for all three teams. Hands on the buzzers, eyes on the monitor when we need it. Here we go. Modern Navy captains undoubtedly use a computer to make entries in what daily ship record, whose name sounds like a sawed-off tree limb? Jefferson.
Log.
That is correct. During the 1920s, the term Paris of the East was often used to refer to what largest Chinese port near the mouth of the Yangtze River? Answer is Shanghai. Communicating with extraterrestrial life forms would be risky, according to what now deceased British physicist? Conneaut.
Fermi.
Stephen Hawking. Stephen Hawking. This peaceful scene is from what German city where the major World War II war crimes trials were held? Jefferson.
Nuremberg.
That is correct. Just before President John Adams left office in 1801, he appointed a group of judges known by what nickname, identifying a late hour? Jefferson?
Midnight.
That is correct. How many terms are there in the expansion of the seventh power of a binomial? Answer? I didn't even have to look it up. It's 8. Kidding. In 1679, the British Parliament passed an act requiring the use of a legal writ. With what two-word Latin name that means you have the body? Jefferson.
Habeas corpus.
That is correct. This proverb is linked to several West African countries, including which one? Where Freetown is the capital. Answer is Sierra Leone. What word applied to the German Hessians in the American Revolutionary War indicates that they fought only for money? Jefferson?
Mercenary.
That is correct. The title of a Sherlock Holmes story refers to the sign of what number? The same as the number of horsemen of the apocalypse. Jefferson?
4.
That is correct. Choice. Which of these is an example of a diverging lens? Double concave, double convex, or concave convex? Conotton Valley. Double concave is correct. These ruins were once part of what kind of public building, such as those endowed in this country by Andrew Carnegie? Conneaut.
Museum.
Library. Library is the answer there. That's it. That's our final buzzer. We go to the scores from there, and here we go. In third place today, 270 points, Conotton Valley. Second place with 405 points, Conneaut. And coming from behind to win in the final round with 580 points is Jefferson area. What a game! The season is winding down. Next week, teams from Hillsdale, James A. Garfield, and Marlington will be here to wrap up our regular season. That means in just 2 weeks, we play championship game number 56. Thanks for watching this week. I'm Rob Power. Study hard. We'll see you right back here next week.